Hello, my fellow researchers, and welcome to video 4 in this SPSSisFun video series. Here I'm going to show you how to get data from Excel into SPSS, and let's get right to it. In my Excel file here, you can see my raw data. I have 3 sheets. Each of the sheets, I'm going to show you a slightly different way of importing data. I'm going to start off with the first sheet here. It's the copy-paste method, which is pretty intuitive. All I'm going to do is simply copy the data. So Control C. I'm going to go to my Data View tab for SPSS here. Go to that top left cell, Control V, boom, pasted it, easy breezy. Variable names haven't been filled in. That's because I didn't copy them in there. So I'm going to go to Variable View to manage my variables, and there are my variable names. You can see my little list here of variables. I'm going to copy those, and boom, I'm going to paste them right there. Easy breezy. Now the variable characteristics haven't been filled in. Okay, that's something you're going to want to do before you do any sort of analyses, and if you want to figure out what those columns mean, you can check out my other video on variable characteristics. I'm going to Control Z. Let's act like we haven't done anything. Okay, I'm going to go to the second method, import numerical values. This is probably the preferred method if you have large data sets. Okay, all you have to do is go to File, Open, then Data. Okay, and you're going to choose File Type. Make sure it's Excel. There we are. And now I'm going to choose my file. I know this file is on my desktop. There it is. SPSSisFun, Excel file number 1. You can see that's what we're looking at there. I'm going to click on Open, and now a little dialog box will appear. It says read variable names from the first row of data. That's what we want. Make sure you have your variable names in your first row of your Excel file, because SPSS is just going to grab those and pretty much paste them along the top here. Now it says worksheet right here. I'm going to choose the second worksheet. So it's cool because you can see all 3 worksheets in this little drop-down list right here. So I'm going to choose the second one, and you can modify the range, of course. See, it says A1 to D1. That's A1 to D1. But if you wanted to choose maybe just these 2 columns or just these 5 cases, you can do that. So I'm going to click on OK, and output window pops up just telling me that SPSS is doing something. It's good to know. Let me minimize that. Okay, back to where we are. Great. Now you can see my data is in here, and here's my variables. Here's my variables. Everything looks good. The only thing that hasn't been filled out, I'm just going to maximize this SPSS window now. We haven't filled out the values column, and we haven't filled out the measure column, and you're going to want to do that. If you want to figure out what this stuff means, again, you can check my other video. So this is great because we have our data in numerical format, right? But what if your data was in text format? So here I'm just going to go to the third sheet in my Excel file, import text values, and you can see now sex, instead of numbers, it's in text format. And that's fine. SPSS allows you to import text. Okay, so let me just start a new one here. Actually, I don't need to start a new one because it will create a new one for me, but I'm going to go to the file, and we're going to do the exact same procedure. File, open, and then data. Okay, same thing. Let's go for Excel. File type. Oh, there's my file right there. So I'm going to open that. Same thing, except I'm going to choose now the third sheet, import text values. That's just the name of the sheet. Doesn't mean anything to SPSS, but again, read variable names from the first row of data is checked off. That's great because my variables are all along that first row. So I'm going to click on OK, and oh, boom, there it is. Okay, it opened up a whole new SPSS file for me. Now I have text cells here. We want to convert that into numbers so we can do analyses a little bit easier. So in order to convert these into numbers, you're just going to go to Transform, Automatic Recode. Okay, let me show you that again. Transform, Automatic Recode. And you can see here there's a little A right there next to sex. That's because it's in text format. So SPSS knows that it is in text when it was imported. I'm going to go ahead and drag it over into this box. We're going to create a new name for the variable because it's going to create a new variable for you, and let's just call it sex recoded. Okay, sex recoded. Add new name. So now you can see it's going to go sex into sex recoded. I'm going to click on OK. My output window is going to pop up, and it's going to tell me right here, females have been assigned a number of 1, males have been assigned a number of 2. So females are 1, males are 2, and you can see there, here's my new variable, sex recoded. Okay, females have been assigned a number of 1, males have been assigned a number of 2. I can also double check that if I go to variable view. Okay, the values column has been filled in, or the cell in the values column has been filled in for our new variable, sex recoded. If I click on the 3 dots there again, you can see females are now 1, males are now 2. That's great. So it does that automatically for you. And I advise you to keep your original variable. However, if you wanted, you could just clear this entire column, and then suppose I just wanted to rename this one back to just sex. There we go. Now we're back to just our 4 original variables. Maybe you don't like having the variable over there, so you can just drag it, drag it over beside where it initially was. So now everything kind of looks how it did from my original Excel file. So don't forget, after you import your data, whether it's in text or numerical format, you're still going to have to fill in your variable characteristics. Okay, and particularly you're going to look at the label, you're going to look at the values column, and you're going to look at the measure column, because none of that has been filled in for us. So that concludes our video here. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me, and stay tuned for video number 4. Thank you and have a great day. Cheers.